Who are you when society is not hating on you? Welcome to the Lips and Language podcast. My name is Cola, where we talk about life, love, and language. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Let's get into today's topic. So when I thought of the topic for this week, I almost didn't record it because it's similar to, like last week I did Love is Pain. And this week I'm also talking about pain, but in a different way. And so at first, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's too similar. But I have a question for you. Who are you when society is not hating on you? Like, who is that true, authentic self? Who is the person that you're not trying to be? Who is the person that you're not trying to put on for? Do you laugh at corny things? Do you smile in the goofiest ways? Who are you when society is not hating on you? Because that's a very important question. That's a very important place to start when it comes to healing. Because this whole journey of love during Love Month has been talking about love is your identity, love is sacrifice, love is pain. And today we're going to talk about love and the hate society gives. Because a lot of the time we're tricked into believing that we don't love ourselves. We're tricked into a different understanding of what love is based on what society does. Society will laugh at you and then say, I do that because I love you. Well, no, that is not the love that we receive. That is not the love that we should expect. In actual fact, love should be pure and kind and patient, and love can be correcting, but correcting doesn't mean that they're laughing at your downfall. Correcting doesn't mean that that they are causing you to feel completely destroyed and in hate towards yourself, towards your body, towards your mind, towards your skin color. That is not what love is. And so when we look at love, society plays a huge role in that, because society and the things that we see, the things that we ingest, unless we're hidden in a rock, unless we're isolated somewhere, we're going to be influenced by certain things in culture. Now, do you want to be influenced by the good things or by the bad things? That is the huge question that is really important. And so when we talk about love and the hate the society gives, we have to separate the two. We have to separate what is real, what is fake. We have to separate what we know that is 100%. This is us. This is who we are. This is how we were from when we were young. This is the things that we like to do. This is us before all the layers came in. And I think when we're going back to figuring out who we are, we have to start stripping away the things and the labels that people put on us, that society put on us. That when you're younger, you used to get super hyper, super excited and act out, so they called you bad. But you're not bad. You're curious. You're inquisitive. Or the fact that you used to talk a lot on the phone, talk to friends, talk to all these, get along with people. And they used to call you like a chatterbox. So they say, oh, you chat too much. But you were a speaker in the making. Who are you? What are the things that you love to do? What are the qualities about you that made you so special before people told you that it was a yuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the time, the people who we grow up to be, the professions, the careers that we tend to take on, if we looked at who we were when we were little kids, who we were before all the other noise came in and the voices and they tried to tell us who we were, we would notice that there's certain things that was really cool about it. There's certain things that we really love to do, but somebody might have said, oh, that's stupid. For example, when I was young, I played classical piano. And growing up, it was kind of like, oh, Black girls don't play classical piano. And so it was like, oh, that's a white thing. And because it was seen as a white thing, it was not cool. I love classical piano, but I started to kind of like shy away from it. I put it away a little bit because it was seen as uncool. But who am I without society? I'm a musician. I'm a pianist. I am somebody who loves to be creative. I'm somebody who loves to be a part of this artsy world that they said wasn't for me. They said that it wasn't for my color. But realistically, now I grew up around a lot of white people, so by culture or by environment, those were the things that were available to me. But is that wrong that I get access to things that I may not have had if I lived in the hood? No, we're simply just nurturing a part of me, or I'm learning and gaining interest into things that I wouldn't have had access to if I was in a different area. But that doesn't mean that it's negative, right? And so in learning who I was, I had to accept the things about me that I was trying to strip away. Also, living out here, it's interesting because that's from like the black side of people, right? But living out here from the white side, now I was too black to be white. I was too black to hang out around the white kids are like, oh, so you just like rap music and all these other stereotypes that they're putting on me. And what's more interesting is my background is Jamaican. And so when they're trying to put all this American stereotypes on me, I'm actually of Caribbean descent. And so all of these things spoke to this person, and I didn't really know who I was. I didn't know what I liked to do. I used to love writing. I used to love reading. But slowly but surely, people pick at the things that you love until they mold you into somebody who you weren't called to be. And you find yourself so far from the design of what God called you to, what God designed you to be. Like, it's so interesting because God has a plan and purpose for our lives. He says this in His Word. And along the way, we're shaped by the things that we are naturally gifted at and talented at. Like, God doesn't just like drop us in this earth and it's like, okay, cool, figure it out. Along the way, there's certain things that we're just really good at. That is an indication of the skills that we need in this life, in this world, the things that will come in handy, the things that might make us money, the things that might allow us to share our story, our testimony, share the gospel, the rest of it. But the enemy is so crafty. In this world, people start to hate on the things that make you stand out until you're just like them. It's almost like they're jealous that you have this talent above them. And so when that saying, misery loves company, is almost like, well, if I can't have what you got, you can't be that good either. And I love the people who have been able to break away from the noise, who stand out, who are like, it doesn't matter what society says. This is who I am. This is what I'm standing on. Those are the people who have found true love in themselves, true acceptance, and really just honed in on what God has put inside them. And I'm not just talking about Christians. There are plenty of people in the world who have figured out how to love themselves, and figured out what they're good at. Now, will they still feel empty without Jesus? Absolutely. But we're not talking about that right now. What I'm talking about is finding the parts of us that we've allowed to be stripped away and put it back together, put it back where it's meant to be. Because we have a task in this world. And have you ever seen a car move without all its parts in the right place? No, right? It needs everything to move together, to be put back properly for it to move. We're the same way. We need all of the parts of us to be put back together. We're fueled by love. And when everything is put together, when you put the love in it, then we can move. Then we can go forward. Then we can do all the things that we're meant to do, called to do. Then we can love on the people who are called to love on. Then we can receive the love we're meant to receive. There's so many people who they feel like they're so filled up but with love, but really, truly, they're sitting on empty. And they don't even realize they've run out of gas. They don't even realize that they're trying to give more. They're trying to offer rides. They're trying to, hey, I can help you with this. I can help you with that. Stay with the car analogy. And they don't realize that they can't go anywhere. They can't move because they don't have what is necessary. And so when we talk about love, when we talk about ensuring that we're filled with love, ensuring that we put away the hate the society gets, we have to make sure that we are walking in a place where everything that they've said, everything that we thought to be about us, we put it away. because unfortunately, the more that we listen to society, listen to the voices, and when I say society, like it's not just outside voices, it can be family as well. If you've read my story, you know I've been heavily influenced by family, and I've had to find my own way out, find my own piece out of what was created to break me. But when I got to this place of finally putting all the pieces together and saying, I'm cool with this, I'm cool with that, I found life moved differently. And then adding Jesus to it was the glue that held everything together. And not just the glue, but it pushed me forward. It shined a light on all the areas that were dark, the things that I didn't understand. It brought clarity to all the things that were confusing. Did you know that ignoring your self-awareness will keep you stuck and emotionally imprisoned? Man, we go through life with this hustle mentality, going, never taking a moment to stop, to breathe, until life kind of just spirals out of control. But it is time to take control. It is time to experience the freedom of your most authentic self. And I have a gift for you. I have witnessed the tears, the happiness, the joy, the transformation when I have done this workshop in jail, in colleges, in high schools, and I want to offer this to you. So, click the link below, get access to the free mini course. There's 4 videos. You are going to enjoy it, and let's get to the other side of healing because you deserve to show up authentically as you. And now I'm like, oh, I'm not just KK's mom. I'm not just a teen mother. I'm not just a girl who got pregnant out of wedlock. I am a woman. I am a daughter. I am a wife to be. I am a mother to be. I am so many amazing things. I am an artist. I'm a creative. I'm an entrepreneur. I influence. I impact. Like all these things that we can say about ourselves easily, when we get an understanding of who we are and we embrace the love that society tried to kick out of us. And so love is more than sacrifice. Love is more than pain. Love is finding and standing on the truth of who we are. That's why the first video that I talked about is identity and Jesus. Because if we don't know who we are, how can we then move? If we don't know who we are, how can we then explore things in life? If we don't know who we are, how can we then get to where we're going and help those around us who we're meant to help? We're actually not meant to do this life alone. There's people who are coming with us. There's people who, like I said, the puzzle, when you put the pieces together, it just makes sense. But until you get the missing pieces, the puzzle can never be completed. There's people we're meant to bring on this journey. We're meant to influence and impact. But it's kind of hard to do that when you don't know who you are, when you don't have love for yourself, and when you allow the poisons of the world, the injustices in society to tip the scale in a way that has you bound, has you stuck in bitterness, has you stuck in unforgiveness, has you stuck in feeling like a complete failure. No matter which way you go, you're just like, no, I'm not good at that. The words the society puts, the pressures that the society puts on men, right? They talk about how men are supposed to be these providers. Men are supposed to be the men of the house. They're supposed to pay all the bills. They're supposed to do all these other things. And men take on this feeling like, if I don't do that, then I'm not a man. If I don't do that, then I haven't done enough. If I don't do that, then I need to figure out how to do that. That's a lot of pressure to put on one person. In a similar way, women, we're told that we're supposed to clean, we're supposed to cook, we're supposed to feed the kids and do all the rest of it and still have sex with our husbands. Okay. And then when we don't do that, to the capacity that society says, then we're not women. So you see how society and its hating self puts these pressures on us that we internalize. And once we internalize it, then we feel like we have to do it. Now, not everything in society is bad. Let me not even get that conversation going. But there are a lot of conversations, like you see social media. Social media isn't always formed by the positive. Social media is also formed by the negative, the laughing at people's downfalls and the rest of it. And so we have to take a look and see how much of that are we allowing into ourselves. And if it's too much, if it's impacting us too greatly, then we have to see, okay, we have to take a step back. We have to cut off some of the world. We have to get back into a space where we can hear from the creator. Who are we? What are we meant to be? What do we like to do? Let's go back to the beginning. A lot of us in our 20s and 30s, we are having to go back to the beginning because unfortunately we didn't have parents who were able to steward that creativity, steward and nourish and educate that side of us that would really allow us to stand out. Why? Because they were trying to figure it out for themselves. They don't got the answers. So if they don't got the answers for them, they don't got the answers for us. And we're in a generation where we're all relearning together and we're all figuring this out. But the good thing is that as we're doing this, we can definitely impact the younger generation to be free, to be loved, to be completely different than what we were taught to be. And so it's this thing where we have to find a way to bridge the gaps between the things that we heard and the things that we know to be true about ourselves. Now, not everything people say is wrong, because I know there's some people who, they honestly just need a reality check. They don't realize that they're selfish. They don't realize that they're arrogant and prideful, and that's part of why they don't have friends, right? But there is something about correcting with love. Everything is about love. Everything, heart posture is about love. How we move is about love. How we show up for people is about love. How we talk to people is about love. If you're about to have a conversation and there's no love in it, don't even have the conversation because it's not going to go through. They're not going to hear you. If you're about to have a conversation and everything is you, victim, 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 don't even have the conversation. Everything has to be written, bubble wrapped, presented in love. That's how people hear. That's how people are able to receive. That's how forgiveness is opened up. That's how unforgiveness is broken. Bitterness is broken. All these things, rudeness, anger. Be slow to speak. Listen more than we speak. We're so quick to defend ourselves. We're so quick to be like, oh, I got to say this in defense. You know what? Sometimes we don't have to defend ourselves. Sometimes we don't have to fight our own battles. Sometimes we can literally just sit there and the silence will fight for us. Eventually, those people will realize something. One of the coolest things, while I was going through my son being sick, for some people who read the book, there was a part where I was partnered with this girl and we were running this company. And one day she decided to kick me out of the company. And she did it in one of the worst ways possible. She stole a bunch of stuff from my house. She just said, like, this ain't it. Go back to doing you. I got me. And she did it while I was taking care of my son. She did it while I was away in an appointment. So I was too preoccupied to really, respond to her in the way that I should have, right? And when it happened, honestly, for the longest time, I called her Satan himself. Like, I'm like, I seen Satan. Like, I just called her the devil's child. Like, that's just the devil's mistress. I forget what names I call her, but they all had something to do with the devil. Now, it's interesting because years later, I had actually met this guy on some dating app, but we weren't gonna date. We were just friends, right? We're just getting to know each other. And one day I had seen, this is years later, but one day I had seen her picture in his status, his WhatsApp status, and I like inquired. I'm like, what is this? Like, and he was just like, oh yeah, she told me all about you and yada yada yada. And the thing is, him and I had such a good relationship. Like, we were cool, right? But as she started talking to him about me, all of a sudden his opinion changed. Cool. So I locked it off quick. I'm like, well, if you friends with her, you clearly confused and you don't understand what's happening in life. And so I can't be friends with you if that's what you're taking up. You know what I'm saying? You know, those people, you're just like, if you don't see nothing wrong with this person, then we can't be friends because obviously you don't have the right discernment, right? So I cut it, let it be. Months later, I got an email from this girl. I got an email from this girl. And she was explaining how, after all these years, she realized that the problem was her. After so many things failed, after so many things weren't working out for her, after so many things have been destroyed, she realized she was the problem. I didn't have to fight for me. Honestly, I didn't have to fight for myself. I stayed quiet. Now, did I write about it? Yes. Did I blast her on the internet? Absolutely. And I don't blast people on the internet, but for her, I made an exception. I think people are like, oh, that's not right. You don't know what I went through. If you know me, for me to get to the point that I'm blasting somebody on the internet, something's wrong. But years later, I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, God is real. Because I'm looking at an email where she not only apologized, but she took responsibility and realized that after all these years, she had to look at herself and realize that I was never that. I was never the evil one. I was never all those things that she had colluded in her mind. We don't have to fight for ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we just allow things to play out. And if I would have taken the hate that she was throwing at me, if I would have taken the words that she was throwing at me, if I would have taken and internalized every single thing that she spewed, all the hatred, I would have turned into a bitter person. I would have been so dumbfounded, broken, bound up. Like I would not be living the life that I was called to live. But it's because I have found a way to shift through the noise, silence the hatred from society, and go back to the beginning and find my true identity and start building from there again. Love is identity. Love is sacrifice. Love has pain elements, but we can get through that. Love is greater than the hate the society gives. Forgiveness is the way that I push through this. I had to release her. And I mean, I had to release her several times. When I say, baby, that thing hurt, it hurt. It hurt. You never know hurt until somebody does you something that you just can't even explain. Like when I say she waited until I was at my baby's appointment, had a key to my house, a spare key, went in, took everything for the business, left a neat pile on my desk, and locked me out of all the accounts. I said, deuces. While I'm going through, the doctor's telling me that my son is dying. She ripped the company from underneath me. But love heals. Love heals. And though it took years of my silence, the hate that society tried to give did not conquer me. I overcame it. Mm. Y'all, God is good and God is real. When we get through to the other side, we understand just exactly what we walked through, and we understand how much it was meant to destroy us. When we put down the words that society has tried to attach to us, when we put down the labels, when we put down the noise, we can accomplish the impossible with God. We can accomplish so many things. Clarity comes. And all of a sudden, we have strength to fight again. All of a sudden, we're persevering in ways we never thought we could. All of a sudden, we are in love with ourselves and in love with where we're headed, and we're happy. We're in joy. We're enjoying the life before us. That is the power of love. And that's why society tries to fight so hard to rip it from us. So don't lose your love. Don't lose it. Keep it pushing. It is important, and it is the fuel you need to move forward. So I love you. I'm going to leave it here for now. Check the outro. You're going to want to hear it. There is some amazing work that can be done when you start back at 1. So I'll talk to you next time, and have a blessed night. What would it look like if we were a people that were healed? What would it look like if we were people that believed in doing the work necessary to remove trauma, to get through grief, and to come out on the other side? Man, we think that therapy is the only way. Therapy is a great way, but there's also a creative way that can help us get through this process. My name is Kola. I am an amazing artist, and I have a program called Restore and Embrace Myself. It is all about the healing and the getting through and the getting over. And if nobody told you, you are special and you are so deserving of so much more in this world. So get in contact with me because I'd love to work with you.